It's Wednesday morning, and I have another Suno-inspired, Suno-produced. We have a new theme song for today. Here we go.
It's Wednesday morning, grab your phone. If you've got questions, you're not alone. Laws can be hard to understand. We're here to make sense of it. Glad you're here, hope you brought questions. 10 a.m., it's time to tune in. We have reruns on podcasts too. At the ASKaTrafficCop show, we get the answers to help you. Follow the host streaming live just about everywhere you think to arrive. YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Twitch, LinkedIn, Kick and Twitter too. It's called X now. If you've got questions about traffic law, if you've got questions about traffic safety, if you want to join our service, wear a uniform and answer the call, we can talk about that too. If you've got a question, just ask it. Your questions make this show worth listening to. Ask your question, then let us do what we do.
Well, that's the show intro today. Anyway, I like it. I do. I also did the same thing. I asked it to reproduce that as though it was being sung by a church choir. I didn't download that one. It was not so good. I asked it to do a rock version. I like same lyrics, different stuff. What else? I tried an a cappella version.
It's Wednesday morning, grab your phone unless you're driving.
I'm constantly amazed by the fact that that's AI, that there's no humans involved in all that. But I could go on and do a whole show just on Suno because that's what my weekend looked like. I was just playing with Suno, trying to learn how to write songs because it'll do, keyword, do a thing, and then you could actually write your own stuff. And yeah, there's a lot of musicians who are probably really unhappy about it. Good morning. My name is Sean Shapiro. I'm a police constable with the Toronto Police Service. I talk about traffic safety, traffic law, and police stuff every single day. Mind you, I'm not going to be here tomorrow. I'm not going to be here Friday. I'm not going to be here over the weekend. I'm not going to be here Monday. That means the next show is Tuesday. And I hope you tune in then. But of course, I hope you stick around with us today because we will be, of course, speaking about stuff and things that matter to you. Talking to you about traffic safety, traffic law, and police stuff. If you've got questions, just like the song said, we've got answers. We are, of course, I put that back on. We are on TikTok, YouTube, Twitch, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, Kick, and of course, Twitter, aka X, or X, aka Twitter. If you are interested in watching, or let's say you don't have time to watch and interact with us live, you can always catch us on reruns. We're available on YouTube. All the episodes are archived. You can also get the episodes as a podcast. Yes, we upload them to Spotify. They get shared to iHeart Podcasts and Apple Podcasts and all that jazz. So wherever you are or whatever you're doing, if you want to synchronize, save your data, listen while you drive, and it's legal if you're not watching us. You can listen to us. That's no problem. It's a problem if you have your screen going. And a lot of people are making videos, having conversations while they're driving on video, watching TV. Guy cut me off yesterday. I'm pretty positive he was watching a movie. The screen was lit and it wasn't a map because I looked in as I was, communicating with him. Anyway, let's see here. We have Akela, who can't be here in the morning because he's got stuff going on. He hopes he can come in later. Tim Shallow says, good morning, Sean. Tien says, good morning, everyone. Northern Pike says, good morning, Sean and everyone. Katie on TikTok, our first TikToker comment that made it through, so we know that the link is live. Katie says hi. We've got Rusty Shackelford. We haven't seen you in a while. What's happening? He says, good morning, Sean. Happy to be off night shift. That answers the question. Hope you've been well. I have been well. Thanks so much for asking. Glad you made it back. We've missed you. Let's see here. Northern Pike says I should dance. I don't dance. In fact, if I teach social media to police constables, to put people in the government space, and my presentation is called No Dancing Required. I actually have some album artwork making. Can I find that? Let me see if I can find that for you. But it is something that I built up to make it look like Phil Collins' "No Jacket Required." For those of you who are old enough to know what that album artwork looks like, I'll see if I can find it. Paul says, "Good morning, Sir Sean." Helmer says, "Hola, hola, ¿cómo estás?" We have Paul who says, "I'm all danced out now." You had enough from that music? That's good. I don't need any dance. I may rock back and forth. This is about as much dancing as I'm going to get to going on. Let's see here. BMAC wants to know, are most of the laws you comment universal across the country? So when we talk about criminal stuff, yes, that's Canada. It's Canadian-wide, Canada-wide, because it's the Criminal Code of Canada. That's what we're referencing. If we are talking about provincial laws, Highway Traffic Act laws, well, things are going to be different. We know that speeding is going to be against the law anywhere, but how much it costs and how they come up with point structures and what it's going to do, it could differ from province to province. The broad strokes are the same. The finite details are not necessarily going to be the same. And there's some things that are not going to be the same at all. Like some provinces allow tinting on the windshield. I think it's only 2, but we don't allow that at all here. In fact, we take it quite seriously. So some things are important to know specifically. And if you let us know in your question, if you're from somewhere other than Ontario, that really helps us so we can try and figure out what to say to you. Because, if you're coming in from Quebec and you want to know about making right turns on red lights, well, I can talk about the fact that on the island you can't. On Montreal, in Montreal you can't. But if it's elsewhere, it is legal. There's things that we know and things that we don't. But we'll do our best to help you out. Steph Chu says, "Is this where my taxpayer money going towards?" Some of it, yeah. I'm a police constable. I'm a media relations officer. I'm a traffic safety and traffic law educator. I not only speak to the public by way of this magical forum of the interweb, but I also go out in person and speak to people, and I also teach police officers. So, yeah, this is something that your taxpayer money is going to, but it's called effective use of funds because I'm speaking to thousands of people. I'm also archiving this. This is all stuff that'll live on well beyond my lifetime. And mind you, the laws could change by then, but we'll keep doing this until we stop. But I imagine it's going to keep going for a long, long time. If you don't like it, you don't see value, don't stay. If you do like it, by all means, ask questions, interact with us. That's what we're here for. The show is better with your participation. We actually do this to help you, not anything else. That's the whole, it's all about protecting you and keeping you safe and educating you on stuff that allows you to know stuff so you don't get charged with stuff because you didn't know stuff. Yeah. If you don't mind, if you don't already follow us, please subscribe, please like the live, share the live. If you're on TikTok in particular, tap the screen and see your fingers going on. It really helps the algorithm identify this as worthy of sharing. And we would like that because sharing is caring. People actually appreciate endorsements. Not only me that you're endorsing me, but people trust you. And if you share it with them, they will probably take it under advisement that it's worth watching. Very often we are on the air. We join Jerry Yeager on News Talk 1010 and other radio stations and television shows now and again. But this is all for you. So hang in there. We will do our best. Please add the letter Q before your questions. That way I know it's a question as opposed to banter amongst the chat, which happens too. We've got a pretty active community here. Now, let's see here. Jose wants to know, good morning, where can I go if I want to change my car paint color? Well, you go to a body shop if you want it painted. I know that's not what you were asking. But if you want to get your ownership updated to reflect the change in color, which you're required to do within 6 days of making that change, go to Service Ontario. It's a simple change. I don't believe they charge you anything for that. It's like a change of address. You're just making an update. And it's an update that will save you both time and money. Money because it's tickets, and if you don't, and that's bad, but time because when we look at a car that comes back, we run the plates, and it comes back as a red Mustang, and it's now purple, we're going to pull you over because there's a problem. It might be a stolen car. They may have taken your plates off a red Mustang, put them onto a purple Mustang. There's an assumption there might be some theft involved. Like, bad things happen. So it just wastes your time. Never mind the time it takes to fight the ticket. It's just a waste of your time. So get it done, do it right, and live your life. Radek says, good morning, and good morning to you. I realized I started getting into questions before I even talked about, I was doing hellos, which I normally do, but then I was going to get into Vision Zero Enforcement Team and completely got into the moment So let's go back and do that in just a second. I'll also open up this magical window for the careers section because I like to talk about careers. I like to think that we're helping the employment unit find magical folks to help grow our service and develop the next generation of police officer and member for that matter, because it's more than just police here. We do a lot of different stuff. All right, quick thing about stuff. I will come back to the hellos because I'm going to do this so I don't forget. That's what I'm doing. I'm doing it so I don't forget. I pressed the wrong button though. Vision Zero Enforcement Team, those magical group of officers that go out every single day to change driver behavior. For those who love PC Pappy, he's a member of the Vision Zero Enforcement Team, making differences, changing driver behavior one ticket at a time. They're out there focused on the big four: those who speed, drive aggressively, drive distracted, drive impaired. They're trying to change those behaviors in particular because those we know lead to serious injury and death on our roads. And today they are focused on, 22 and 55. 22 Division and 55 Division, those are the neighborhoods of Etobicoke West Mall, Queensway, the Beaches, Riverdale, Danforth, East York. Neighborhoods where real people live, work, and play and deserve to be safe. We announce it every day on our Twitter account, which is @TrafficServices. In fact, you can just go to ASKaTrafficCop.TrafficCop.ca has links to all of our social media, but we post specifically on Twitter, aka X, aka, I don't know. I'm never going to get used to this X thing. We also post on Instagram and Facebook, and then we talk about it here on TikTok and all the other platforms too. So that's a thing, and you should definitely subscribe. Cold Laker says, hello, TTTC Sean, TikTok Traffic Cop Sean. Love your greatest fan. Well, thank you very much, Cold Laker. Good to hear from you. And hope you're doing well. Michael says, greetings. Have a good weekend because no show tomorrow. Why are Easter eggs a thing? Bunnies lay eggs. I don't know. I wonder how that actually started, but maybe somebody here knows. Okay, so Baconzilla is saying that it's day 3 of asking if it's illegal to feed someone else's parking meter. No, it's not day 3 of you asking. I've never seen your question before, and I pay attention. But I will answer your question because it's not illegal to feed someone else's parking meter. There aren't that many parking meters around, though, like actual meters that take coins where you can feed them, because now it's all done by way of an app. So if you hack their app and you utilize, a device to do that, that would be problematic. But a meter, if you can find one in this day and age, good for you. And by all means, donate to anyone else's good fortune or to prevent them from having bad fortune, misfortune. Anyway, Tequila says, good morning, Sean, and good morning to you too. Ryan, Thin White Line Interceptor, says, good morning, bud. Hope all is well. And you know what? It's pretty good. I'm actually looking forward to having a long stretch, even though I'm not actually taking tomorrow off for fun and excitement. I am looking forward to spending time doing some stuff. Cold Laker says, love your educational videos. Thank you so much. We have fun making them, and it's helping people, and that makes me smile. We have Pastucci's Toronto Pasta Bar says, good morning, PC Sean. How's your day going? My day's going great. It's halfway done. I get in at 6, all sorts of prep. We've been working on some videos, training videos, not videos for sharing worldwide, but yes, having a lot of productivity going on today. Okay. What is this? Gavin says, if you put a building next to, at least remove it. Gavin, you make no sense. Let's see here. We have, nice. On TikTok, we've got 71 people watching. We've got 45 people watching amongst other platforms. We've got a bunch of people here watching. We're watching because we're on lots of different places. Majority are on X, on our traffic services page. By the way, if you're watching on Twitter, you can actually engage and send messages. I keep showing the example because for years we said you can't. And we've trained people not to ask questions because, well, you couldn't. So now, when you open up, and hopefully this isn't going to be loud, when you open up your app and you click there, a window shows up at the bottom. This is on X, and you can say hello. And when you send it, guess what? I get the message. The message shows up clear as day, and I'm going to make sure there we go. Look, it's amazing. Did I press it? No. Now I press it. Look, it's amazing. I actually see you and can put you on screen, and that's through X, and that's relatively new, and we'll keep saying it because we have to, because people are used to not being able to. Okay, moving on. What do we got here? We have questions about breath samples, roadside screening devices. All right, here's the deal. The question is, can they ask you for a breath sample if there's no reason? There's something called mandatory alcohol screening in Canada. It's new-ish, and it's awesome. So if you're driving a motor vehicle and you are stopped by police, you can either be the random lucky contestant to provide a breath sample. No suspicion is required to even suggest that you have alcohol in your system. I pulled you over. You're the fifth car I pulled over. At the beginning of my shift, I said, every 5 cars I'm doing a test. You're number 5. I'm going to read a demand. You have to provide a breath sample, and you cannot refuse. If you refuse, you're going to get charged with fail to provide a breath sample, and that's actually punishable. You can be charged as though you were over the legal limit. Not a good look. So, yes, for no reason. But if I have a reason, then I wouldn't use mandatory alcohol screening. I would actually use the reason. So if I pull you over and I ask you if you've had anything to drink, or I smell alcohol, or you tell me you have alcohol, or I smell alcohol, I have suspicion that there's alcohol in your blood, then I can make a demand based on that. But yeah, there's both are good options. All right. Northern Pike says, I really enjoy this, Sean. I hope you continue to do this for a while. I have no plans on changing ever. Like forever. I think in retirement I would do this because I enjoy it. Carl Freeman says, good morning, Sean. Cold Laker says, I respect the cops. You guys are awesome. I really do appreciate it, Cold Laker. And then my voice starts to play funny things. Question from Rusty Shackelford. We flagged that. We have Abdul, who's watching from Pakistan. We have a number of people from Pakistan who watch. Some of them are police officers, well, one in particular. But hello to you. Everything just updated. Stand by. Scrolling back. There we go. Oh, we've got questions about U-turns, left and right. If there's a no left and right turn sign, does that mean no U-turn too? Ethan wants to know if I am the police. I am a police. I'm not the police. No, I am a police officer with the Toronto Police Service. I work for Toronto Police, and I work at the division called Traffic Services. We're a citywide unit that handles, traffic. We investigate collisions. We enforce the Highway Traffic Act. We're involved in major investigations involving, fatalities and severe injuries with a reconstruction unit. We have a criminal investigation bureau. We have the motor squad. We have lots going on. We're a big place. We're one of the biggest units in the city, if not the biggest. Okay. I don't know why this is such a popular question, but must indicate left in a left lane only? Yes, you must. You always have to indicate the lane painting or designation does not mean that you don't have to signal, because you're signaling to really communicate your intention to change direction. Let's see here. We got Mo says, they will never help you, buddy. And Mo is absolutely wrong. Our whole goal, the reason we're on this channel, is to help you. But police, we're here to help. That's our goal, and that's our mission, our reason for being. What is it? What is the French version of that? That's on the tip of my tongue that I can't say. Anyway, let's see here. We have good morning to all good people. Let's have an awesome day, Brandon. Good morning to you. Let's see here. I'm not skipping the ones that I mentioned. I'm going to go back to them in a second. Boom, boom, boom. So you must have asked the question and then dipped out yesterday because we talked about this. Plates are being copied too often now, which is sad. What can we do to protect them from happening? Oh, that from happening. There's nothing you can do to prevent someone from making a forgery of your plate. There is nothing. But if you have, strange bills coming in from, the 407, for instance, you're getting parking tickets and you weren't there, then there's a reason to make a police report, because that may have happened to you. We can't prevent things from happening. We can't prevent people from stealing cars just by being in existence. You have to take positive action, and that's usually the car owner who has to do it. But you can't stop someone from making using Crayola to make their own versions, which is what people are doing. I've seen some pretty pathetic looking license plates, and I've seen some pretty amazing and convincing ones until you get up close. Anyway, moving on. Radek says, can you issue a ticket for unsecured load to a farm vehicle, implements of husbandry, that loses its load on the road that it's crossing? I can't imagine why we couldn't. let's see if it specifies, and it might specify motor vehicle, for which it's an implement of husbandry. It's not considered a motor vehicle, is it? Okay. Insecure load. No person shall operate or permit to be operated upon a highway a motor vehicle that carries a load or draws a vehicle that carries a load unless the load is bound, secured, contained, or covered so that no portion of the load may become dislodged, fall, leak, spill, or blow from the vehicle. That's pretty all-encompassing. And let's look at HTA definition of implement of husbandry. And this is going way back. Self-propelled implements of husbandry are vehicles manufactured, constructed, designed, blah, 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 for example. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it makes sense that we would, probably even should, but I don't have a definitive answer for you. I will talk to my farmer friend. Let's see. We got... Oh, Boy Mom 8424 says, good morning, Sean. Pappy needs to be on an episode. He was asking me about that. And he actually was making fun of me. He says, you never invited me. So I invited him, but we haven't made it happen yet. What do we got here? I heard we have to update a sticker on our plates in Toronto. Can you talk a bit about that? A sticker, a particular sticker? So most motor vehicles don't require validation stickers anymore. It's been quite a while. But you do have to go online and renew them. Although they're talking about making that no longer like automagical unless you have unpaid fines and whatnot. So I haven't received any official notification that that's actually happened. I will tell you that I have a link at TrafficCop.ca that will take you to the ministry pages related to renewals, and you can register for reminders if there's any issues. You can be reminded about your health card, your driver's license, and your renewal sticker or your permit, because there are no stickers. There are some stickers, actually, for some commercial vehicles. For snowmobiles, there are stickers for certain vehicles. Motorcycles and most motor vehicles are personal motor vehicles now. Anyway, more information there, TrafficCop.ca. Do you think community-oriented policing possible? What do you mean by community-oriented policing? Yeah, I need more information to be able. I don't know what you're getting at. Like we're all about community policing. We're the police that go into the communities and we work with communities to help them. But it's not maybe there's something going on in the news. Community-oriented policing. Let's Google it. There's community policing, which we do, but I don't know that we added oriented. I don't know what you mean. All right. Do you have to stop before turning right on a red, even if the other road has an advanced left? Andy, it's a red light. You have to come to a complete stop before making a right turn at a red light. In fact, it's two separate things. Yes, it's a red light. You have to act appropriately for the red light. After you've complied with the instructions of the red light, which is coming to a complete stop, only then are you allowed to proceed before it's green and make a right turn if it's not, prohibited by a sign, and if it's safe to do so. So absolutely, Andy, you absolutely, wait, how many times can I say you must come to a complete stop. I'm watching people make the right turns without coming to a stop, and it drives me bananas. All right, I'm going to go back to these first questions that we started talking about, and I completely didn't do my order of operations business. Okay. Rusty wants to know, what are the biggest changes to the HDA this year, either already implemented or coming up later this year? Until I get a chief's memo, I don't know, because there's lots of things that are up in the air waiting for royal assent, but I couldn't predict what's going to happen or not, and we're the last ones to know, because why would you tell the police first? Why would you get us ready? I mean, we lots of discussions. The media, I'm pretty convinced, hears before I do on some things. But yeah, I don't have anything I can share at this point. And the question earlier was, does no left or right turn mean no U-turn too? What's the first half of a U-turn? It's a left or right turn. If there's no turns allowed, U-turns would be prohibited as well, because that's where the sign is present. That's because when you have an improper turn or a turn that's prohibited, it's when you start or what is the other terminology? It doesn't require you to complete it. Improper. Let's do improper turn. And it wouldn't necessarily qualify. Well, I think it could actually for the disobey sign, because there's a sign there too. But let's look at the whole turn. So, what do we have here? Anyway, it's too far down the rabbit hole. But essentially, you must make the left turn before completing, and it's even if for trying to make the turn that's not legal is illegal. Castlefield and Dufferin, one lane going west. Who has the right of way? Southbound Dufferin turning into Castlefield West, or northbound Dufferin, middle of the intersection, turning left to go west. Castlefield and Dufferin. Let's put this on the screen. I think that's a good idea. Maps.google. And we're going to go to Castlefield and Dufferin, because I'm not familiar with it. Or maybe I am and I can't think of it. I can't visualize. Okay, let's have a look at the intersection. Where's Dufferin? Where's Castlefield? Oh, here. Okay. And I'll put this on the screen, because last time I thought I'm going to put it on the screen, then I never actually pressed the button to do that. Here we go. We're going to share. And flipping the switch. Here we go. So this is Castlefield and Dufferin. Where's my mouse? Here we go. So you want to know about who has the road? Southbound Dufferin turning onto Castlefield West, or northbound Dufferin, middle of the intersection. Oh, well, it's always, so if you're turning across the lane of oncoming traffic, you don't have the right of way. The person who is going southbound Dufferin, making the right turn onto to Castlefield, that's here. They have the right of way. You would be here waiting to turn, and you have to wait until it's safe to do so. So you don't have the right of way. Yeah, there you go. That was easy. Didn't really need the visual as well, but I do kind of like the fact that we have that ability. Add some, and for the people who are listening to this in the podcast, I put a picture of the street on there, Street View, and then we talked about it. All right, we talked about this already, the indicating when you're in a lane. We talked about Radek's question. All right, let's get back into more questions, new stuff. If you're watching and you don't know who I am, my name is Sean Shapiro. I'm a police constable with the Toronto Police Service, and I talk about traffic safety, traffic law, and police stuff all the time. We do the show weekdays, at least most weekdays, from 10 o'clock onward for at least an hour. Yesterday was like almost 2 hours, 1 3/4. Okay. Question is from Mike, who wants to know if it's illegal to have a booster seat in the front seat of a car if it only uses a shoulder belt. Well, no, it's not. If that, we say backseat is best until 14 years old because it's safer. Airbags can be fatal to children. Crumple zone's bad. Like, the safest place is the backseat for children. But it's not illegal. There's no specific seating position that you must put a car seat or booster seat in. Now, when can you get them out of a booster seat is a different thing. You didn't ask it, but I'll answer it anyway. When they hit 8 years old, 80 pounds, or 4'9" in height, then they're technically allowed to sit without the booster seat. And there you go. But I had a 2-seater vehicle, and it was the only vehicle I had at the time, and I had a kid, and baby seat went in the front seat. Seat rocked all the way back. I had not reclined on the track, all the way back as far away from the front dash as possible, but it's not illegal. Let's see here. Can you give an example of how Peel Police and TPS collaborate with each other? Can we? I don't have a great example for you. We have lots of things that we do between different agencies where we work together towards common goals. We work with our community to make the streets safer, but we work on projects, especially if we have things that are either common interests, because we're all working towards, like, for instance, auto theft. We all work together for auto theft. Gang stuff, stunt driving. We work on projects together on a regular basis, not just Peel and Toronto, but all Southern Ontario policing. Yeah. Greetings from Cologne, Germany. Good morning. What time is it there? Good morning. It's so nice to hear from you. Germany is a place I've yet to visit, and I want to visit. It's I have so many friends and family that either are from Germany or are now in Germany and just can't say enough good things about it. So I want to come visit. Let's see here. Oh, so this is funny. People you see in hell. Why is ALK being followed? So this is something that overtook yesterday's chat, and I think it's hilarious. So this person, I'm assuming is a comedian. I don't think that's his normal persona, but he makes some funny videos, which I like, and I like to follow local creators. Oddly enough, I don't actually follow him. I did a number of years ago, and he made a video exactly like the video he made this time, saying that I follow him and why is the Toronto Police following him. He's being funny, and if he's not being funny, I can put him in touch with agencies to help him, because if he's not doing that as a comedian, I don't know why he's doing it. But he does brand deals. So he's pretty active working with people now, I think. That's just his persona. But anyway, I'm not actually following him. I took a screenshot of that yesterday and said, but I don't follow you. Maybe he was specifically talking about, I might follow him on my personal account. Anyway, that's pretty funny stuff. I actually saved the video to play for everybody here because I wanted everyone to have a good laugh. Let's see here. M. Martinez says, do your job and force the law to criminals. You force the law? I am doing my job. I'm a media relations officer who is educating the people about traffic safety, traffic law, and police stuff. If you got questions other than your comment, ask, because I'm happy to help. I'm happy to answer your questions. That's what I do. All right. We got Baconzilla says behind. I don't know what Baconzilla is talking about. Okay. Andrea says, hope you and your family have a great Easter. And yes, thank you to you too. For all who celebrate Easter, I hope you have a magical one. I think that the painting of the eggs and all the fun activities, the kids love it. I like that. We like Easter festivities and fun. We get involved with our local community as a family and go out and do stuff. So it's great. Does the budget for your show fall into the department's public relations budget? I have no idea. I'm not a budgety person. I work for traffic services. We have our own communications unit. I'm at least the only full-time person in it. We do have a couple of officers that are media relations qualified, but we are not a corporate communications separate. We have a proper corporate communications downtown. So I doubt this comes out of the public relations budget, but I don't actually know. I've never been asked that. I've never had to find out the answer. But good question, Sean. I will have to have that conversation. Actually, I imagine it's just coming out of the traffic safety programs budget, which we've had forever because we're traffic safety programs. And education is a huge component on traffic safety. People can't do what they don't know. And the whole goal here is to have conversations that help people, that reduce harm, that increase education. And with that, hopefully people do better on the road, because we lose too many people to poor decision making, and it could be stuff that would be easily avoided if people just knew before they did. That's not a really catchy slogan, but yeah, what can I do? Let's see here. Scrolling back. Okay, I found the last comment. What do we got here? All right. More greetings from Germany. Is that a different person from Germany? Or we may have two viewers from Germany. I don't remember if it's the same person. Okay. Staying in Toronto downtown this weekend or outside parking lots. Okay. Hotel parking. I don't know what we're talking about here. Oh. Now I got you. I'm picking up what you're putting down. Took me a second. You're staying in Toronto, and you'd like to know if there are outside parking lots and safe hotel parking to low, because the truck parking is a problem. Many undergrounds don't actually permit trucks because they don't have the clearance. It is a problem. There's lots of outside lots, although you might be walking to your hotel. I would speak to your hotel in advance of your arrival and ask if they have oversized parking available or if they can refer you somewhere. because that's the thing. When I was staying in Ottawa to do presentations for traffic safety to local schools, I had to arrange for oversized parking for my SUV because I couldn't park in their underground, which made a block and a half walk every morning and every afternoon. And I did not like it. I should have rented a tiny car. Okay. Why does Buddy look like he's snoozing? Because he's close to retirement, and that's what they do. No, he's just not propped up any better. I moved him recently. Okay, we got... Does a fence around a school or playground allow the driver to do the speed... What? Does a fence around a school or playground allow the driver to do the speed limit rather than 30? The speed limit is 30. So they should always do the speed limit. They should always be cautious for children. Fencing doesn't change driver behavior, or shouldn't influence driver behavior. It certainly doesn't change the law. Okay. Greg Marshall says, good morning. Good morning to you. Do own the lane laws apply to the 400 series highways? Do you mean the fact that the lane is yours, and if someone's merging into your lane, they have to do that with caution? They can't just drive into you? Like, what do you mean by own the lane laws? But it is your lane if you're in it. That doesn't mean you can choose to drive 20 kilometers an hour in that lane. You need to give me more. I'm not sure what we're talking about. You obey whatever is posted. Oh, it's a comment to Bus Jam. No, so stopping people for no reason whatsoever. Samuel Berard. Yeah, your comment is not making sense. Yeah, you must have asked about, are we allowed to stop and check people at any time? Because this is a message you left at 17 minutes after, so it's been a while. All right, there is a backlog. It takes me a while to get through messages, but I do my best to catch up. Is tinted headlights or taillights illegal? Yes. Tinted headlights, absolutely illegal. There's a specific charge for it. Taillights are different. Taillights don't have you can't coat or cover, but they have to be discernible at 150 meters. But guess what? If you tint them, it is likely that they are no longer discernible at 150 meters. And discernible means not only do you have to be able to see the light, but you have to be able to identify when it changes from simply marker status to braking status. You have to be able to see the change in illumination when you depress the brake. There you go. Jacked up to the magnificent. Hey, from Bradford. Hey, how's it going? Brittany says hi. We have... I'm reading some of the chatter that wasn't intended for me, and it's funny. Okay. Are there any foods that could result in false positive in a breath sample? Yes and no. I know there's a lawyer who put on a whole bunch of stuff, like you take soy sauce, so you're going to... Well, if you swish with alcohol, you'll get a false positive. It's not in your blood, it's in your mouth. So we actually wait for to allow mouth alcohol to dissipate, to go away. Because there's alcohol in chewing gum, sugar alcohol. Read the packages. It's minor. I don't think it'll trip a sensor, but we do take precautions. So we'll ask you questions like, when's the last time you had a drink? When's the last time you had any food? When did you have a cigarette? There's a whole bunch of things we want to know, and then we will take that into consideration before giving you the test to avoid any false positives and to avoid damaging the machine, things like that. Are you allowed to pass on a double yellow if it's safe to do so? In Ontario, and Ontario only, it is not against the law to cross the line. The line on the ground has no authority in Ontario. They're looking to change that law from what I've been told, but it hasn't happened yet. Every other province, you could get a ticket for crossing the line. Here, no. Now, you are absolutely responsible for everything that happens after you choose to break the line, choose to cross that line. You drive head-on into an oncoming car. Yeah, it's your fault. You had a clue it was the line. You chose to ignore it. Things happen. But thanks for asking the question, April. Pedestrian involved in a hit and run. How do you speed up investigation if you need treatment? Well, you would contact the investigating officer. You would get the insurance information of the vehicle that struck the pedestrian, and you would go and seek benefits from that insurance company as a pedestrian who was struck. That's what happened. Okay. Tyrants say anything just to justify their tyrannical actions. Kenneth, are you a tyrant? Where are we talking about tyrants? Police, we're not tyrants. We're just people trying to help people. That's all it is. Boom, boom, boom. Oh, when a temp sticker expires, where do you go to renew it? Back to the MTO? Yes, exactly. Back to the MTO. That's different. You need an actual update on the registration. It's not something as simple as going online and pressing, re-up. Jesse is about to do their OACP certification tomorrow. Hope to join the police department in town. Awesome. Good luck to you on that. If you are interested, I'm assuming, Jesse, you already know, but if you are interested in becoming a member of the Toronto Police Service or, well, any police service, you should do your research in advance. But if specifically you want to join the Toronto Police Service, we'll talk about this for just a quick moment. I like to talk about stuff and things about joining the police. It's an exciting time. If you're joining the police service, you should be going here. TPS Employment Unit's webpage. It's the tps.ca/careers page. You see these smiling, happy people. See, that's why you should join the police service here, because you'll be a smiling, happy person too. Information of all the jobs we offer, at least the primary ones, have even sub-pages. They have these great, you can go down the chain and check it all out. Police Constable, obviously the one that most people are looking at. And I think people have a misconception that's all we do. Well, yeah, we are police and we do police stuff, but we have a lot of different jobs that support police, that allow police officers to do what they do. Like communications operator, parking enforcement officers. They keep their city moving. Now, if you're interested in a job with a great organization but don't want to be a police officer or work in a uniform capacity, check this out. 8 jobs. Workplace investigator in the equity, inclusion, and human rights section, analyst in research and evaluation, employee services representative, law clerk, communications operator, developer in the digital team, solutions architect, or senior analyst. These are jobs that are here now but may not be here tomorrow. Like this was posted today. You make $110,000 to $130,000. I'm rounding. And the details of that job are here. If you qualify for it or know somebody who qualifies for it, let them know. We're all about hiring people who can do great work and help people, because anything you do at a police service is ultimately helping the community. Even if you're just, helping to file papers, like it's helping. Help is good. Oh, my wife is watching. Good morning. I didn't know you were there. She's having a conversation with somebody else, but still. All right. Let's see here. Oh, my goodness. Nikki wants to know if did Toronto police really ask people to leave cars by the front door because of home invasions? Yes, but let me explain. We didn't say leave it outside, which for some reason, some person or some group of people thought that's what we were saying. We didn't say put a tray of cookies out and invite people over to steal your car. Not at all what's being said. We're saying that if people are willing, bad persons are willing to break into your home to get the keys, better they should take the keys from the front credenza type thing than to come and drag you out of bed at gunpoint to get your keys. It's no different than a carjacking situation. If someone, an armed assailant, comes up and says, give me your keys or else, you're going to give them the keys because your car is insured and you don't need to get hurt unnecessarily. Bad people do bad things. If they're going to break into your house, let them have the thing they're here for and say goodbye. Your family's safety, your safety, physical safety is more important. That's what was said. That's not to suggest that you don't have to do all the other things. Use Faraday bags to avoid relay theft. Use a club. Make your vehicle the least attractive vehicle for car thieves possible. Make it so that they want to steal somebody else's car and not yours. That's what your job is as a car owner. When it comes to once they've broken through that level and they've taken it to the next level, now it's about harm reduction, not theft reduction. So yeah, that's gone all over the place. And it's not fair. The officer was given a really tough break, or they were made to look silly. That's media spin, because that officer gave all of the advice before giving that piece of advice. All of the advice, use the club, use the fair, all of the advice was given. And then people took the one clip and said, he's telling people to do stupid things. No. And in fact, that's what the Community Police Engagement Unit actually put out as the proper protocol now, that we should change all our stuff. So it's the company line. All right. What's this? Never force a fart after 55. Favorite username. Police and judges legally have no jurisdiction of your private property, including your person. What? No, laws do have jurisdiction. you're saying judges and police. The laws have jurisdiction. We absolutely have the authority to go onto private property, depending on the reason, depending on our authorities, but every situation is different. And obviously we have the authority to arrest people, which means we have the authority over one's person in certain situations. They all have to be justified. Everything has to be articulated. And very often we have to apply in advance for that authority. If conditions are conditions. Everything's different. What do we have here? All right. Can someone with dyslexia become a police officer? I imagine they could if they could pass everything. I've met people with mild cases. If you have a major problem with dyslexia, it might be too much of a problem. It may prevent you from being able to pass a test. But talk to a recruiter. I don't have a definitive answer for you. Thoughts on defending yourself on a home invasion? You're allowed in Canada to use as much force as necessary to defend yourself or another. We're talking about defending life. We're not talking about preventing people from stealing your, Tupperware. Totally different situation. Boom, boom, boom. Can I be on my phone while driving if I'm not on the road, i.e. tractor in a field or a lawnmower? So that particular law requires you to be on a road. Has to be on an actual highway traffic, or a highway, which is any road, any legal road in Ontario. If we're talking about your driveway, you can use your phone in a parking lot. That doesn't apply. You are still responsible for any collision you cause, but otherwise you're okay. Have tinted glass, stopped twice by police, but none questioned me about it. Is my tint legal? I couldn't tell you. I haven't looked at your tint. Tint, just because no one gave you a hard time about your tint, they may have been pulling you over for another reason. They may not even notice your tint. Doesn't make it legal. That would not be the test. Legal is a good test is to see if you're standing outside of the vehicle, can they see inside your vehicle? If they can see the driver and be able to describe them, be able to see if they're using their phone or wearing a seatbelt, that would be an appropriate level of tint. If it's darker than that, it's generally not. Is stunt driving an arrestable offense if the speed is 80 kilometers over the limit? Yeah, stunt driving. So if you are doing 40 over the limit in some areas, like a 40 doing 80, that's arrestable. Stunt driving, the charge has arrest authority. So yeah, 80 kilometers an hour over the limit, absolutely. If you're doing 80 over in a 40, I might not only charge you with stunt, I might charge you criminally for dangerous driving. So yes, Chris, it's absolutely arrestable. Thank you. My wife is reminding people to put the letter Q in front of a question so I can find it. It makes my life easier. Let's see here. Don't know who we're talking to there. So I'm scrolling through a whole bunch of stuff. What's the charge for a radar detector? Radar detector, it's going to be, what's the actual wording for it? Or what's the let's just do a radar search. Proper wording is drive motor vehicle with speed measuring warning device. And that includes radar, laser, even jammers do fall under the same thing. $170, 3 demerit points. It's section 79.2 of the Ontario HTA. What do you usually do for 5 over the posted speed limit? What do you mean? Smurf wants to know. What do I do? 5 over has never really inspired me to generate a traffic stop, to be quite honest. If I've got to pick a number that I'm okay with, is a variation of about 5K. That doesn't make 5K over legal. It just means I probably wouldn't waste my time pulling somebody over for 5K. In a 30 zone, maybe I would pull them over to warn them if I was really bored, but I don't know. People are doing way, way more. Like that guy today was doing about 150 weaving through traffic, and I'm estimating 150 just based on my experience and the fact that I was doing 100. But those are criminal speeds. Absolutely criminal speeds. Where'd my questions go? They scrolled away on me. Now, we are scheduled to 11 o'clock. That's 10 more minutes, but I might be able to squeeze a couple, just a little bit more. Oh, who does not remember when health card or driver's license expires? It is every 5th birthday. I know the next time driver medical is unfortunately not tied to birthday, but I still know when. You know what though? We rely on automated reminders. I put everything in my phone calendar, and if it doesn't tell me, I don't know what to do. Like, when is Christmas? I don't know. No, I have to keep track of these things. But yeah, 5 years, when depending on when you got your license, the 5 years may not make sense to you. You have to make a conscious effort to plan these things and understand when they are. They do make sense if you look for it, but some people are just on autopilot. Okay. Do you need to stop at a red light if you have an advanced green right turn light? No, that's the whole point of the right turn light. It gives you the right turn authority without stopping. It's giving you specific direction that supersedes that of the red. You have a signal for you. Let's see here. Sorry, everyone. I just did that too. Because if you're wearing headphones, like, why do you do that? Okay. Why do people try so hard not to stop at a red light? It takes 3 seconds, literally. It doesn't even take 3 seconds sometimes, but it does take an effort and a requirement for actual stopping. I agree with you. I don't understand why people are so lazy and in such a rush. All right. BMAC wants to know what the definition of jaywalking is. Jaywalking isn't a thing here. I mean, jaywalking is crossing outside of an intersection that's, either in a crosswalk or not. There are bylaws in Toronto where you have to cross in a crosswalk or at the intersection within a certain distance to them, but it's not an HTA offense. You can certainly, like if you had a kilometer between intersections, no one's expecting you to walk a kilometer over across the street and come a kilometer back. That said, a lot of collisions and fatal ones occur in between intersections. So mid-block, we call it. Mid-block crossings can be deadly. I mean, any time you're on the road and where there's a potential interaction with vehicles is dangerous, but mid-block ones tend to be high speed. And cars are not looking for people. They're in autopilot. Let's see here. Matthias says, hi. You just joined. Welcome. Let's see here. Joshua says, love your work. Thank you. Thank you for the appreciation. I appreciate you for the appreciation. So you're welcome and thank you. Yeah. What do we have here? Britt says, me say hi. Hi, Britt. Bruce says, all right turns have the right of way unless it says no right turns. That makes a lot of sense. Yeah, right turns. It's when you're crossing through past the oncoming traffic, that's when you lose that right. Okay. Some people being mean to other people. All right. Peter is asking about the keys to the front door. We've already covered it, so I won't go back there. But you can always rewind and listen to it again. Mind you, you asked us at 10:30. Maybe you were here for this. Bad Boys, what you gonna do? Great song, absolutely. In fact, great movies. I think they just made a new one. Haven't they made a new Bad Boys? I look forward to it. Mike Lowry. And I like Porsches, so I don't fit into Porsches real well, but I like them. All right, what we got here? Meeting is over. Akela is back. Awesome. And why doesn't Ontario have a stop arm camera on school buses? So Ontario did change the laws. We now have the ability for automated enforcement when it comes to school bus enforcement. And it just hasn't happened in all jurisdictions. I know Niagara region, I think, has them. But it's going to be a slow adaptation where adoption to it because it costs money. But I think they're having good success with it. And I think it's fantastic. I think that all buses, all stop signs, all roads should have automated enforcement because people do the darndest things when they're not being watched and held accountable for their actions. There are not enough police officers on the planet to take care of making sure everyone does the right thing. We really need people to do the right thing because it's the right thing and not because they might get caught. But maybe we need to put some consequence on the table. Otherwise, people will do the darndest things. Did I say that already? Yeah. Carl says, thank you for your service, and thank you. You're welcome. I never know how to respond to that, but I I enjoy what I do, and they say if you enjoy what you do, you never work a day in your life. 2 people came with baseball bat at my workplace, threatened me, and gone. What should I do? Call the police. Hopefully you have a video camera surveillance system and you might be able to get descriptions, but absolutely call the police. That is report worthy. Okay, RJ2112 says, I have a medical device attached to my body, which is Bluetooth to my phone. Alarm goes off, and I don't see the rest. Okay. Are you asking if you're allowed to then touch your phone? I don't believe that there's any medical exemption for using your phone. So you'd have to pull over safely, legally park, and then you could access the device. Okay. Scrolling. What are the requirements for driving with a permit? What do you mean, Braden? Driving with what kind of permit? Buckshot says, I carry an Arizona license. Not Arizona, AZ. AZ license. Does that zero tolerance count when in a personal vehicle? Don't drink and drive. So if you have a commercial vehicle license and you're in a commercial vehicle, you have a zero tolerance situation. If you're driving a G-class vehicle, there is no zero tolerance at that point. If you're over the age of 21, you're 22 and above. And that is the deal. And people tell drivers the darndest things. Ministry of Transportation people have in the past said, well, if you get your M1, even though you have a full G license, you'll be driving for 40 years, you can't have any alcohol when you're in a car. Well, that's not accurate. I don't want people to drink and drive. That's not the thing, but it's just not accurate. If you have a G-class license or the equivalent and better, like AZ, then you can have more than zero, but under the legal limits, while you're in a G-class vehicle, but not when you're in an AZ vehicle, or a commercial vehicle. Moving along. Why do cops make false police reports daily? Did you make a police report? What do you mean? What is the allegation? Because I'm not aware of any false police reports. You may not like the outcome of anything we do, but that's probably because it was about you. What are you talking about? Let's see here. Lots of folks reminding certain users to stop asking the questions and stop spamming. I've witnessed people speeding in videos, and so have we. We see a lot of social media. Police actually spend time as an investigative tool using social media, and we have found and charged people who are active in the stunt driving and stupid world, because people who do stunt driving stuff, it's kind of stupid. It's very dangerous. But very often those things turn into investigations resulting in serious charges, even criminal charges. Yeah. Wang says, I'm tired of receiving tickets. It's probably because you're breaking the law. Just saying. It's a clue. It's maybe you should stop breaking the law. A little bit. A lot. Just don't break the law. Okay, moving on. Ontario cops are a lot more chill than Quebec ones. I've heard that, but I haven't had any negative experiences. I've traveled by motorcycle, by car into Quebec, and I've never had a bad experience. But I'm glad that we're more chill to some degree. 84 says, thank you for your service. You're welcome. Again, I don't have a good answer for that, but thank you for the thank you. Yes. What is this? What are the G2 restrictions for the first 6 months, and what are they after? So the first 6 months, you can only have a maximum of one person under the age of 20 in your vehicle between the hours of midnight and 5 a.m. Other than immediate family, for that there's an exemption. In the second 6 month period, you are allowed to have up to 3 people under the age of 20 in your vehicle between the hours of midnight and 5 a.m. And of course, you must maintain a 0 BAC. You cannot have more passengers in the vehicle than you have seatbelts and seats for. I don't think there's anything else. Are Toronto police legally not allowed to chase motorcycles going excessive speeds? No. There is a misconception that we can't do anything, and we certainly can do certain things. We also don't do stupid things. If I'm going to chase someone that's going to cause what's the least nice thing I can say? The squid. Squid's a common term for racers or folks on bikes like that. If you're going to be a squid and you're going to run, chances are you're going to lose control and you're going to get really hurt. And in doing so, you may also hurt other people. So we're going to take seriously what the risks to public safety, and you're part of the public. So yeah, we're probably just going to be taking identifiers, gathering evidence before we even light you up, and then we're going to try and stop you. And then when you run, we're probably going to come to your house and arrest you there. Yeah. Asking about, what is this? Asking what about people that don't pay on the TTC and bus drivers do nothing about it. Okay, I got what you're saying. So when people get on the bus and they're aggressive to the driver, yeah, they have their own policies and procedures how to respond, but I don't know. I don't know what to do. Okay, we covered this. If you're driving down the street and see someone in the ditch, is it illegal to pull them out? I'm not aware of the fact that you're unable to help them. If they damage property, they may be required to complete a police report, calling the police, and there could be other things. How'd they end up there? Was alcohol involved? Was it criminality? Police might need to be involved. Let's see here. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, just trying to scroll through. It is 11 o'clock. We should be wrapping up, but I'm going to try and find, because we're getting close to being up to date. Got 96 people watching just across, we've got YouTube and Twitter, and so, somebody's on Twitch. So we've got folks there. We've got a whole bunch of people on TikTok. So if you got questions, Tuesday is going to be the best time to jump into them, because we're going to wrap up real soon. But going to try and find a couple more questions here before we get into dad jokes. How do the police readers work and speedometers work, etc.? Or plate readers, I should say. How do the plate readers work? So the ALPR, automated license plate readers, are pretty amazing. They can read license plates traveling the same direction or opposing directions across all lanes at traveling at speed. It's phenomenal. I couldn't tell you technology-wise, because I have no idea what the under the hood workings of cameras and stuff go. But I'm good. Thank you very much for offering. Some people are going to go eat food, and they offer food to get, but I'm good. Thank you very much. Okay. I normally don't break away for people at my door, but it's the right people. What else? How do speedometers work? Yeah, I don't even know. But we don't use speedometers to measure your speed. We use laser, or we can use our speedometers, which are rated. Anyway, I don't have the technical ability to give you an answer to those particular questions. How does stuff work? Yeah, I know the general stuff. Not that. Moving along. John Frankley on Facebook. Hey, Facebook question. I don't think we had anybody else on Facebook today. Why is the law so strict with windshield tint? You mean the one that says you may not have any? I can understand something like 20%. Is it illegal? But you have 60 or 70%. It's still very visible. And if people want more privacy and not to be seen, then they might want a bit of tint. And it continues to say, so I don't really see the problem with that. I can understand a lot, though. So essentially, just to paraphrase all of that, he would understand if a little tint was legal and a lot of tint wouldn't, but why is it such a big deal? It's not safe. That's one. It's not safe to restrict the amount of light coming into your eyes. Your eyes work on light. That means if it's not as bright during the day, it's also even less bright at night. Buy sunglasses. Now, you mentioned privacy. There is no reasonable expectation of privacy in the public space. And when you're in your car, you're in the public space. You're also driving a regulated device. The car is something that requires a license. There's conditions for you using it. And police are going to monitor its use. Are you driving with a seatbelt on? We need to be able to see that. If we can't see it, it's against law. One, because we can't see it. Two, if you're not wearing it, obviously it's against law. Two different things. But if you're obscuring the driver's view with a coating, you're off the road. We'll take your license plates and we won't impound your vehicle, but you can't legally drive that. You'd have to get it certified again. And nobody should be certifying a vehicle that has any tint on the windshield, especially if it's made after 2017. 2017 and up can have nothing on the front windshield. 2016 and older can have a 3-inch tint strip on there, a brow. But that's it. But it's a safety thing. And we need to be able to make eye contact. You know, pedestrians, drivers need to be able to see inside to see you. And most tint prevents you from doing that or makes it more difficult. Anyway, it contributes to less safeness. Is it illegal to have loud exhaust in the daytime? It is against the law to have loud exhaust anytime. It's not a time frame. Where there are bylaws in cities that say after 11 o'clock that they have a determination as to how loud things can be, you can never be loud. Not truly. Anything that is unrelated to the safe operation of your vehicle, like just being loud for no reason, yeah, that's against the law. Honking the horn for a purpose, legal. Not for a purpose, just to be a noisemaker, illegal. Playing your stereo too loud, against the law. Like, it's not lawful. But yeah, it doesn't matter the time or day. Captain Foley, how's it going? Yes, and live long and prosper. Is that right? Yeah. What is this? Does a personal use trailer for moving cars require an annual safety sticker? A personal use trailer, if it qualifies requiring a device, it requires a device. I don't know what kind of trailer you're talking about, but if it depends, I think, on weight rating. I'm not the right guy to ask. That's going to be the Sarge who just went out for lunch. He's the one who offered me lunch. Let's see here. Are you on the clock at the moment? Yes, I'm a media relations officer, and I'm being paid to be a media relations officer because that's my job. Let's see here. Are you a constable? Yes, I am a police constable with the Toronto Police Service. I am not a sergeant. The sergeant is at the door. My wife is reminding that it's 11 a.m. Well, it's actually 11:07, but she put the message at 11 o'clock exactly. I thank you for the reminder. Okay. Josh, what's going on? Josh is here and reminding people that to put the Q in front, but I think we're going to wrap up. I'm seeing a whole bunch of new questions coming, but I don't think we can keep going. But we'll grab a couple of good ones. Can you drift in the snow in a parking lot? No, it's illegal. That is absolutely against the law. That is stunt driving, private property or on the road. Is it illegal to swear at police or parking officers? Well, swearing is not necessarily illegal. Physical abuse is absolutely illegal. If you're assaulting someone, you're going to get arrested. Just mouthing off to them, no. We've heard those words before. It might start to escalate things where police get notified. Well, if you're talking to a parking enforcement officer, there's a lot of people who like to abuse them. They're getting arrested and charged a lot. But police officers, yeah, we've heard big words, and although it doesn't help your case, swearing and being rude to a police officer doesn't make things better. It tends to make things worse. Moving along. I'm 18 and work in the military. Is it possible to become a cop? Absolutely. Apply. tps.ca/careers. Can I drive alone after midnight with a G2? Or I can drive, yes, you can drive any time with a G2. The conditions are in the first year with a number of passengers under the age of 20. That is all. What schooling do you need to become a police or law enforcement officer? To work for the Toronto Police or provincial, actually I think it's any police service in Ontario, grade 12 is the only requirement, although more education is better. And then we're going to train you for what you need to know. So whether you become an accountant or someone who is got a master's degree in interpretive dance, you're going to learn policing once you get hired. You don't have to go to a school that teaches stuff that would be redundant that we would teach again and possibly differently. Are automated stop signs to enforce no roll-throughs? Well, to make sure people stop. I don't think we have any automated stop signs in the province, but I think it'd be great. In Washington, D.C., I think they've got a stop sign that's made over $1 million for the city already in fines. Now, is it to prevent roll-throughs? Yeah, it's to prevent people from going through a stop sign without stopping. Boom, boom, boom. Do you give a mandatory breathalyzer in your province? It is not mandatory. There is something, mandatory alcohol screening is an option for us, but it's not mandatory that we give screening to everyone we stop. It is that we have the ability to employ mandatory alcohol screening if we don't have suspicion and we're following whatever we decided at the beginning of our shift. So if I say I'm going to stop and check everybody, like I'm going to stop anybody I pull over for speeding, I will automatically give them a mandatory alcohol screening regardless of whether they're good, bad, nice, big, small. Like it's unbiased. It's everybody. That's what I'm getting at. And then if I have actual suspicion because I open the window, or they open the window and I smell a brewery inside, well, I'm not using mandatory alcohol screening. I'm going to use the old school. I suspect that you have alcohol in your blood, thus I am giving you a demand. Okay. Can I drive in the U.S. with a G2? Yes, you can. It is a license. You cannot drive in the U.S. necessarily with a G1. Although we issue the license and the permit, and it's up to the other jurisdiction whether or not to accept it, but you can't even move to another province with a G1 and get it. You have to take their test again. It does not transfer. All right. What's the legal percentage for tint in a car? 30% for the windows left and right of the driver is what the certification requirement is, and nothing on the windshield. The back windows can be as dark as you want. You can't use reflective tint. And of course, that's just for certification and whether your vehicle is safe for the road. Outside of that, obscuring the interior of the motor vehicle by way of tint or reflective coating is separate from your safety. That's just a charge under the Highway Traffic Act. And you'd be surprised at how light tint actually needs to be legal for that purpose. I have to be able to see through it. If I can't see you, you get a ticket. Can I eat a burger while I'm driving? Oddly enough, you can if it doesn't interfere with your ability to safely operate the vehicle. Relative speed of the tire translates to the speed of the car. Yes. It's the number of rotations over a period of time. Yeah. Boom, boom, boom. He's giving the breakdown of how it works. The device in the tire will read their RPM, calculate the speed based on the RPMs of the tire sensor. Cool. Mel Yao says, I'm so glad you're live. I have a burning question. My car was stolen. Sorry to hear that. And I had vanity plate for my new car. I can still use my precious vanity plate. So you report those stolen. My understanding is now they're in circulation by the thieves. You don't want to use that. It's a problem. But did they steal and leave behind the vanity plates? Like, if you don't have the plates, you could reorder them. But I've also heard from people saying that they were not allowed to reorder them because they were stolen and could be in use elsewhere, which would mean people would be driving around with valid plates because they're the same. So I think you can't. But talk to the Service Ontario folks. They'll give you a better answer, a more accurate answer based on their knowledge, rather than my assembly of stories from other people, because I've never looked into this directly. Chase follows up and says, a modern speedo works by measuring the rotation of the wheel using electronic sensors and converting the signals into a speed which is transmitted to the dash. Cool. Okay. If a cop is going 140 without its lights on the 401 and you're behind them and going the same speed, you get a ticket. Well, they're probably actually going somewhere, but if I caught you, I would absolutely give you a ticket for 40 over, because they're legally permitted to go over the speed limit. They do not require lights and sirens to do that, but you do. Well, you do not have the authority, and you don't have lights and sirens, would be another ticket or two tickets for you. Anyway, let's see here. Jessica's doing police foundations part-time. If I want to be a cop, do I have to be full-time? The policing has to be full-time. Like, we don't hire part-time cops, but at the same time, yeah, the schooling doesn't. We don't care if you go part-time or full-time police foundations. In fact, we don't care if you go to police foundations at all. If you're continuing your education, that's what counts. Yes. But yeah, we don't. So I'm not 100% sure what you're asking, but I think I covered it. Maybe, possibly. Let's see here. Just scrolling to find out what else we got. Oh, do you guys have drones to catch people speeding and street racing? We do have drones. We have lots of drones. Drones everywhere is drones. We employ all sorts of things. Some helicopters. We don't have our own helicopters, but we use our friends. We often, people said, well, earlier, what does York and Peel and Toronto work together? Examples. Well, that's one of the ways we work together, utilizing each other's equipment so we can get the job done. Is it still not possible to become a police officer if you're colorblind? I believe that is still a requirement. We have other jobs like parking enforcement officer, special constable that do not have color acuity issues or requirements. So things you can look into. Okay. Can I hold a Class 5 license and a full G at the same time? That would not be legal. When you come from another province, which is where you get a Class 5 license, you need to trade that in to get a Ontario G-Class license. You cannot. It's against the law to hold two licenses. Fix that up. You might have been here yesterday, Buster Billy, because the question sounds so familiar. Can a G1 driver drive with someone who is medically suspended? No. They have to be legally capable of operating the motor vehicle and sober. And a suspension of the license means they are not qualified to drive. Let's see here. But it's okay for police officers to have dark tint on their vehicles? No. No one can have dark tint on their vehicles in Ontario. Not police officers, not you, nobody. If you think that there's a police officer that has that in their car, report them. Okay. Oh. Let's see here. Does the police station leave the car keys in their cars? No, we have a secure facility, and we have people wearing guns walking around patrolling it. Let's see here. Boomer says, I've been skipped twice. I saw you this time. Any laws against the volume of sound a tire makes? Yeah, you can't. You mean like it squeaks because it's a really new tire and you're driving around on linoleum everywhere? Or do you mean because you're squealing tires? Squealing tires would automatically count for two things. Stunt driving potentially, but definitely unnecessary noise. Is it illegal to have a lifted truck? 3 inches is generally what's acceptable, if I remember correctly, but there's a maximum height you can lift the headlights from the ground, a minimum height as well for lowering vehicles. And lifted trucks are not safe. Not only do they pose a rollover risk, but they're really bad for pedestrians. Now, there's a lot into that, but don't do it. It's not. If you have an off-road vehicle, drive it off-road, not on the road. I've seen some of these videos. The disturbing number of truckers live streaming and chatting while driving. What's the penalty? If they're using their cell phone, it's distracted driving. Okay. Meliel, I got your thank you. Thank you for the thank you. Can you please describe what a yellow light means? People seem to think it means speed up. Well, it's absolutely not speed up. It's slow down. No, it's actually stop. It's stop unless it's unsafe to do so, at which point you can continue through the intersection. And of course, there's a condition on that. If you have to accelerate to get through, you should have stopped. That's just a given. But if you are past the point of no return, you are so close to the intersection that you cannot safely stop, or traffic is right behind you and there's no way for you to stop safely without causing a collision, that's when a yellow light allows you to proceed through. But guess what? If I'm watching you, I'm going to have my own independent opinion as to what you just did, and you might end up with a ticket, and it's the same essentially as running a red light. Okay. Britt wants to know, why do bikes still use the sidewalk and not the bike lane on the road or the road? Bikes cannot use the sidewalk at all in the city of Toronto. It is a city-specific bylaw. Yeah, they should use the road. They should use bike lanes if they have them. They were put there for them. But so many people are misusing the sidewalks, which are for pedestrians and other vulnerable road users. But people do it because they probably feel unsafe on the road. It's a problem. But if you're under the age of 14, you can legally use the sidewalk. Will a charge come up on a background check if not convicted? Yeah, if you're applying to the Toronto Police for a job as a police officer and we charge you for a criminal offense, you're absolutely right. We're going to find it. It's going to come up. And we also talk, like the charges will come up as well. Not a conviction, but a charge. It's different. Is it illegal to have wide tires on your truck? There's a width if they're protruding from the body or the fender flare, yeah, it's illegal. All right. Monica says, good morning. It's almost the end of the show. It was supposed to stop 20 minutes ago. Can a police officer give you a speeding ticket on private property? They can give you a stunt driving charge if you're doing 150 on private property. But no, speeding is not enforceable on private property. Rakul says, the Polaris slingshot vehicles, do you have to wear a helmet when you need a G-Class license? Yes. Sorry, I wanted to say if you, yeah, you need to drive. So it's a motorcycle that has a pilot project exemption allowing you to operate it whilst having a, let's pull it up. I'll show you what we're talking about. So share my screen. It has a steering wheel. It has all the controls essentially of a car, but it does require. Hey, there's a guy with a helmet. Can I put that full screen? There's a guy with a helmet there. Why? Because you need to have it while you're driving. They are cool looking. I don't know if they're cool to drive, but you absolutely have to have a helmet. And I have video. I did a TikTok with about somebody who was driving one down the 401, and they did not have a helmet. But there was some also weird stuff about the way they registered it. It was registered as an automobile because they had imported it from Montreal, and over there they consider it a car. It's a very Toronto thing or Ontario thing to call that a motorcycle. Okay. And what is this? Dahlia says, I got a ticket for speeding and he gave me stunt driving ticket even though I was going 30. You didn't give me enough to actually understand what happened because you were doing 30 kilometers. You were doing 30 over. You can't get a stunt driving ticket. Well, got a ticket for speeding. You gave me a stunt driving ticket. Yeah, your question doesn't make sense. Ask me again. Rephrase it. Send me if you really want clarification. You can ask me by going to ASKaTrafficCop.TrafficCop.ca. There's a submission form there. You can also do it. Last question of the day. Can you use your phone as a GPS if mounted on a phone stand? Yes, but you can't touch it so you set it and forget it. You put in your address or you use voice commands, but you cannot physically use or interact with your screen whilst driving. Do I have a dad joke? I do. I have one. It's from Michael. My wife says salads I make are dry. This is something that needs addressing. It's a good joke. All right. We're doing this outro song because we do this thing. It's called the Traffic Song, written and performed by a police officer right here in the station. It's a lot of fun. Enjoy.
Yellow light, red light, green light, go. Driving safely helps the traffic flow. Watch for pedestrians, look out for bikes, and don't drive like a jerk that no one likes. Yellow light, red light, green light, go. Driving safely is the way to go. Put down your cell phone, nobody needs you to text and drive on the DVP. Yellow light, red light, green light, go. Stop at stop signs, look both ways, then go. Seatbelt, save your life indeed. And watch your driving, don't speed. Yellow light, red light, green light, go. Driving safely is the way to go. Don't drink and drive or smoke some weed because you might go to jail and not get free. Yellow light, red light, green light, go. Driving safely helps the traffic flow.
Challenge accepted. I'm going to enter those lyrics into Suno to get a heavy metal version of that song. But before I do that, and it'll be after I go off the air, so we'll open with it on Tuesday when we come back. Here is the joke that I didn't see from Michaela, and it's, I went to the library and asked if I could borrow the DVD of Batman Forever. They said, no, I have to return it next week. I like that. All right. Josh is doubling down on that heavy metal version. Okay, I'm going to go play with it right now, make it happen. That's my lunch break. I'll try and develop a new version of the song and then shock the person who wrote it and play it for her. Okay, I'm out of here. Have a great weekend, a long weekend. If you're celebrating whether it be Passover or Easter. Have a wonderful weekend. Stay safe. Drive sober. Drive safely. Park legally. And smile, because you know what? Even on you, it looks pretty good. Take care. Take it easy. Be well.